Thanks for joining us to learn more about Special Forces Association Teamhouse. I'm Jeff Olson. I've been working with Pete Tinkstrom and JD Morris on a project to engage SFA members and drive additional use and adoption of the new Teamhouse site. Over the next few minutes, we'll take you through the reasons for acquiring a new system, the benefits it brings to you as an SFA member, and some key areas of the system. Please do feel free to ask questions during the presentation. You can do that by voice or by using the chat function that you see at the bottom of the screen. You'll also notice a microphone button at the bottom of the screen. Please click on that to mute yourself unless you're asking a question. That'll help a little bit, reduce background noise and improve the sound quality of the recording. We'll also have a question and answer session at the end of the call, but feel free to interrupt and ask a question if you got one. So with that, let me turn things over to Pete Tinkstrom. Pete?
Awesome. Thanks, Jeff. I'm Pete Tinkstrom. I'm out here in Hawaii, Chapter 8 president, part of the national admin team with Jeff and JD to help with administration and change and really chapter outreach to find administrators to help every chapter out there in the nation. It's really a train the trainer effect. We divided the country into thirds. And for instance, I have 32 chapters ranging from the Midwest, Mountain, and Northwest. And JD and Jeff have the same as we go across the country. I'm also part of the SF for Life committee, and we'll be covering some of that SF for Life as well. So what I'm going to do now is share my screen and bring up what the website looks like. So right now you should be seeing the Special Forces Association.org website. This is the website that's open to the public, without any username or password required. And you can see the different categories from about, chapters, membership, the store, contact, the convention, and elections. But up on the far right-hand corner, you'll see login to the Teamhouse. So you click on that and you'll see a new screen, which is our Teamhouse, which really takes our chapter and opens the aperture national, actually globally, across all the chapters across the world, 90 plus chapters. And you all received, if National had an updated email address, you received about a year ago, probably, an email from National saying this is your username and password. So many of you may not have that. If you don't, all you got to do is go to member login and throw on there forgot password, and it's going to send you a temporary password for you to change and update that. You'll notice when I click on, let me go back out for a second to show you the difference between unclassified. So this is an unclassified website, obviously, but it's an HTTPS protocol website, which is the same security that banks use to do transactions and anything that people do online. I know a lot of the old timers out there are afraid of putting their information online. So not only is it a secure website for internet protocol, but you have to be a vetted SFA member, current SFA member, paid to be able to get the username and password to sign on. So this is the screen that you see for Teamhouse, pretty much the same areas except for SF for Life there and a contact us button that the general public would see if they put teamhouse.specialforcesassociation.org. So now I log in, and because I put to save my username password down there, it automatically brings that up. Now I'm an administrator, so I have a control panel here that you won't see, that's kind of grayed out. You won't see that for the general member, but you'll see how many more areas and how many more menus show up once you are signed in. And again, it's only SFA vetted individuals can see these pages. This is almost like Microsoft SharePoint. Chapters can tailor their pages to just their chapter members, or it can open it up for the national that you have to be logged in to see it, or you could make it public to where even when you're not logged in, people can see that if they click on certain links. So the first thing I'd like to share with you is your profile. You go up to your name, click on profile, and it's going to bring up a number of boxes under your profile. It gives you your member number, what your status is of membership. I happen to be a life member and I'm active. They throw a date out in 2065, but that's just everyone has that right now. It's got my current email address, so you can see if National has the right address. And this is where you're able to change a lot of the information. Gone are the days that you have to go to National and go to the executive director or the secretary to update your phone number, to update your address, to pay your membership. All that stuff can be done online by the member now. This is brought to you by Club Express. And the basis of this Club Express was our membership database. All of our national officers and our boards, none of them live in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where the SFA headquarters are. They're everywhere across the nation. This has enabled us, just like what Zoom and WebEx and all those video conferences did during COVID. It brought us the ability to reach across the country without having to travel. So under your basic membership information, you click that. This is where you could change the spelling of your name, throw in with your male, female, nickname, spouse information, your address that's on file. So this is where the drop is going to get sent. And if you haven't been receiving it, that may be wise, because that address is no longer updated. You could update your phone number. You could update your email in here. And you can see the red dots that are the mandatory things that the database needs in order for SFA National to continue to communicate with you. You see a chapter in there. I'm chapter 8, but when you change that number in there, that's just a free text box. That does not change your chapter. We'll show you where to do that here momentarily. And then you could throw an emergency contact information. So that's basic information. Next block is additional member data. This is where you can throw membership qualifications. I agree. You can check my records. I was an 18 Bravo 3 Victor, spent 17 years within SF. I'm affiliated with Chapter 8. Again, this is free text. That's the second place where it says what your chapter is, but that is not where your official chapter assigned place is. And then I was an SFQC class 2-90, if you care to put any of that in there. Next is standard member directory. This is important for those of you that are concerned about your privacy. Under general info visibility, I have chosen to show all my information. If someone out there wants to search for me because I was in 12th group, or I was at USASOC or JSOC or whatever, and they're trying to link up with old buddies or guys that went to schools or deployed with them or whatever, if I click one of these other settings here, do not list me in the directory, I'm a ghost. You're still in Club Express and National has your membership. You can pay for your membership. You have access to the site. You can search on others, but you can't help anyone else and they can't help you. And so there's a variety of, don't put my bio, don't share my address, share everything but my email. You could put what you want. Again, this is our internal brothers and sisters within SFA that we prefer everybody to show their information, because that's how people can benefit from this. And you'll see some of the additional benefits later. You can pick whatever profile picture you want, a banner if you want, biography. I think this is important because I personally, as the president of the chapter out here, have had about 8 deaths in the last year. 5 of those deaths, all I had was a DD Form 214 to go off of, to learn about that member and to be able to put an obituary together for both the paper, for us to honor them when we did the ceremony here in Hawaii, and to send to the drop, which is one of those no-fail missions of SFA to remember our brothers. So this is a way that you know yourself the best. This is how I want to be remembered. And so it's totally up to you whether you put anything in here or not, but this is how I want to be remembered. There's one of my last active duty photos, and I put a little bit more about the different assignments and stuff that I did for them to remember. And it's pretty much a bio on that spot. So that's the last thing under standard member directory. There's the next one's a business directory. Each member can put up to 5 businesses that you are a part of on this website. And for instance, I have one, and you can put it's a special forces owned business where brothers can assist other brothers that have businesses in here. You can throw your websites, your email, how to contact you, your logo. You can throw pictures in there about your business to where guys can pick up on it and learn about your business online. Next thing under member profile, this is where you change. So if I didn't have, when I clicked on login, this is where you could change your username and can change your password right here. Then there's a lot of areas that a lot of people don't use, but there's other members. You can renew your membership and pay by credit card on here. You'll see a whole instruction on donations and stuff later. But down here under more member options, chapters, additional members. Each individual has the ability to change what chapter they belong in. They may be at large, but they've moved and now they're near this chapter. All you have to do, this chapter that's shown here is the official chapter, and you can only belong to one that National recognizes you at. And so, hey, if I don't live in Hawaii anymore and I move to Florida and want to be part of Tampa or McCall and want to be part of chapter 6, I remove myself from this chapter and then I pick the chapter I want to be a part of. Each member can do that themselves. Now, the folks of you that are out there as administrators and whatnot, we can change that. The individual needs to, or you need to notify National, the executive director, and we'll show you how to contact them to make those changes for you. But the individual has that ability, and that is your official chapter there under chapter additional members. If you renew online, I'm a lifetime, so I won't have any of that. But if I donated, there's a couple great causes out there that you'll learn about. I can go in here and see my donation history to write it off as a tax exempt with this 501c 19. There's forum threads that you can tailor to yourself to follow certain things. We'll cover that a little bit later. But the other, I think one of the biggest things that we've done with this is on this interest tab on the far right under website functions. This is key. Originally, our website just had your MOS and special skills, but we've gone to a whole new level that really connects us nationally. So you can click what MOS you're a part of, what SF groups or headquarters that you're a part of. If you see one that's not there, like the 66th or some other crazy one that you want to be able to connect with others that were part of the same thing, or a deployed operation or whatever, we can add other areas in here where you're able to connect with those like-minded people that did the same thing. And we'll show you some capabilities in emailing later, where I literally can go in and email anyone in the entire country that put 12th group. They're not around anymore, but they're still scattered all around the country. And you could do searches for people in 12th group and where they are. And we'll demonstrate that here shortly. What advanced skills you have. I'm a member of a bunch of different, I'm a chapter consultant for chapter 8. I'm part of the sound off thing that you'll learn down the road. And I'm part of the SF for Life committee. If you want to mentor to other people, whether you have backgrounds in any of this, we have some mentor things that I've built up certain skills in my life. You know, now I'm 55, that I would love to contribute to others, and other people within our network can search for me and ask for assistance on employment or college. I'm not a VA guy. I'm not a marketing guy. I'm not a law enforcement guy. So I didn't click on those. If you are a mentor in other spots, we can add, as admin, add additional things that you could be a mentor for. I happen to be the president of the chapter. So you chapters out there that did your elections, gone are the days that you guys have to go to National and report that up. Your admin, your chapter president can go into your own profile and click that new position that you are a part of. Make sure you unclick the person that's no longer in that office. And you'll see there's ability for the president to email out all chapter presidents. That's got to be checked off and your email active to be able to get that email. And then special interest. I think this is really cool. This is where whether you're ride motorcycles, play sports, whatever it is, you can look for other like-minded individuals anywhere in the country and check that box and find other people that you want to go play whatever with, go run, go work out. Motorcycles is one of the big ones, as different clubs like the Special Forces Brotherhood Motorcycle Club that have charters all over the country. They get together and love riding in with each other. So I'll show you how people are able to search for that stuff in a second. So that's under interest. So that is pretty much all the things under member profile. A lot of information there, but you can click and see that kind of information. Next, I'll go back to the home page. Of course, you just have the banners right there. Not a whole lot to show you on this page, other than that's where you log in and go back to click on some things. Member directory. This is almost like a Google, but it's everything within this site. For only those that have allowed their information to be shared, a basic member can search for any member by first name, by last name, by city, by state, by interest. For instance, I said motorcycles earlier. We could say, you could click on motorcycles, hit search, and look at that, a map comes up. We have 76 members across the country that like to ride motorcycles. And I can go click in to my local area to see, well, I'm here in Hawaii, all the guys in Hawaii that love to ride motorcycles. Now, I'll bring a point up about this map. This map is center of mass on the town, not pinpointed where you live to your address that's on file within, for those that are worried about their privacy. So that's an example of searching for someone by interest. You can search for people. Let me do this. You can search for people by chapter. I want to look for everybody that is members of, let's see, Midwest, chapter 73. Search. And like, hey, there's all your chapter 73 members. There's 68 of them. And you notice there's guys in Arizona that belong to that chapter way up in the Great Lakes. You'll see that's the same across a lot of these chapters. The search is really cool. Here's a quick vignette for you. Cody, Wyoming. I'm trying to find the administrator. I go to the chapter finder, which I'll cover in a second. The guy listed there passed away in 2008. No one bothered to update national on that. I contacted the president. He was in an old folks home. The guy didn't have an admin. He thought he only had 2 people in his town. He actually has 9 in Cody, Wyoming. He had no idea. That's how powerful this tool is. He thought he only had 4 in the state of Wyoming. He actually has 54 people in Wyoming. All he had to do is come to this website, click on the state of Wyoming, do a search, and boom, there's 27 in Wyoming itself. Now, that 27 are active SFA members, but I want to show you this. Those of you that are administrator out there, you click on the control panel, people manager, and you do the same thing. I want active people and expired people that are members in there. I want to add a filter, and now I'm going to search by by Wyoming. And you'll see that number went from 50 to 27 to 54 people found now. A lot of those guys may be deceased. A lot of them have just fallen through the wayside. And who knows how long. You can see in here when they expired, back to 1952. So some of these guys may not be around. Here's when they expired, 2004. So chapters can help recruit and bring people out into the fold and show them this great Teamhouse and the benefits of that. So that's what the member directory is all about. A lot, and you just click reset to reset. You can do it just say, I want to click within a city or zip code and check within 75 miles of whatever address. Very powerful. You can click on like I said, interest. Hey, I want to find where all the 19th group guys are. Let me reset within 75 hours. You want to look by group. 19th, search. Boom. They're spread all over the country. These are 40 active 19th group guys. Now, again, those are members that decided to put and click on interest 19th group. We probably have 5,000 19th group guys that have not gone in here. And that is what we're trying to do. Get everybody in our country, around the world, to update their profile. So now you can search and reconnect. I've reconnected with 2 former team sergeants that I haven't seen in 30 years because I made myself available on this website. Chapter Finder. You move, you're looking for somebody. And like I said, I used Cody, Wyoming as an example earlier. You know, people can choose whatever chapter they want, but you pick whatever chapter it is. You got their phone number, their email, their address, a link to their internal chapter webpage. You can see all the members by one click of that chapter, and you can go to their individual event calendar to find out what's going on with that chapter. Very, very easy to do across the country to get in touch with people in different chapters. Next is the business directory. Say, hey, I'm updating my will or power of attorney, and I want to search for, you know, some kind of legal services anywhere in the country because I may not have one, with likelihood not one in your town. That's a Green Beret. Well, boom, there's 14 listed. So these are brothers that have put on this website, I'm willing to help you. And here is my website, whether you need estate planning, tax, criminal defense, personal injury, bankruptcy, civil litigation, you name it. All kinds of businesses can be put in there where a guy getting out is looking to do that job. Hey, how did you get started? Or someone looking for assistance within that business. You can look at it by section, within distance, category, or just do searches. Event calendar. Here's the national calendar. You can narrow this down to just your chapter. You could tailor it to stuff. You can add it on there. Very easy to add a quick event. And for example, this Teamhouse overview training, I put that on here. I put the link that anyone in the country could have joined us today had they gone to this calendar and known it was there. Hey, here's the POC of the guy running it and the email and exactly the link. And I could click, add that to my own personal calendar without having to copy and paste that into my own stuff. Kevin Harry, as an example, as the president of SFA, he was trying to go around and link up with different chapters around the country. And he wanted to come out to Hawaii with his family on vacation. He looked on this calendar to see when we were doing our chapter meeting, and he actually planned his vacation around our chapter event to try to be there to join us for our event and meet as many chapter members as possible. And at-large members can do the same thing. You could be on vacation, you could be doing whatever. A lot of folks can use this calendar to share their information. Documents. This is great. This is a document that every chapter's got a chapter folder. You can make it private to your chapter that just your treasurer has for future treasurers. You can put different things on here, but let me show some of these. Under chapter admin documents, a lot of self-help articles are in here on reports, how to use it, how to create donations that we're going to cover lately, how to create a photo album, how to update your member profile that I went over earlier. Someone can go in here and just click on this little cheat sheet and it will bring up an entire PDF to explain how to do that. You'll look in here, you got SF for Life articles on how to update your profile there, a Teamhouse handout about it. And then coming down here, you got official documents with a variety of things that National have SOP and National board minutes. And then look at this. This is the drop archive. You'll notice, those of you who received the drop last month, there was a paper shortage and they put the obituaries in there. None of the chapters had any of their pictures or their write-ups in this last paper copy of the drop. But the last electronic copy with all the chapters, write-ups and pictures and whatnot, are here with one click away for you to take a look at it. And the drop goes back to at least 2011. And they still go into the archives to upload additional drops in here for people to look. The drop is the most expensive most expensive thing that SFA does. And so for those of you out there, they're going to look at potentially having you opt out, getting the paper copy to save money. And then this would be the way that you would go find that version of the drop when it comes out here under SFA documents and the drop archive. Again, the documents, you can set folders up for your chapter. They can be private to just your chapters, so where no other chapters can read that stuff. But this is also a great place where your chapter can share best practices on a 3-gun shoot that you do. You know, gone are the days where, hey, tag, you're it. You got to set up a 3-gun shoot and you've never done one before. Well, we have chapters out there doing that as donations, and they're making thousands of dollars to be able to give back to their nonprofit and to help their members out. SF for Life. I mentioned I was part of the SF for Life committee. This was the second thing that the website was originally designed. Hold our chapter membership and help our Green Berets transition from active duty. But we've taken it one step farther, even though we have 650 Green Berets discharged from the military each year. We're looking for ways to support our fellow members transition. We have guys that live all over the country. We have guys that have done every job that you can think of. We have lawyers, we have writers, scientists, researchers, investors, doctors, lawyers, welders, politicians, you name it. There's a Green Beret out there doing that right now somewhere in the country. So this, again, this brings your chapter out global to get assistance and ask for help beyond. Now there's good transition point programs with a Soldier for Life, program in the Army, but this helps us help others. There's a lot of great handouts here. This video is very well done by a couple of our members, Ed, Richter, and Jeremy, that put this together. Well worth looking at, and to send other people to the site to look at it to get assistance. It's a fantastic program that they put together and really help our transitioning folks. And again, like I said, it's not just getting off active duty. Many folks change their careers many times and or move to other locations across the country. And you have a community of people to help you find jobs, find schools. This network is just vast that you can use it for. Next, SFA resources. This is awesome. So they have taken pretty much any website resource out there possible and put it all on one page for you. You can look at all the command elements with links to all of them across the SOF community, all the different associations, organizations that are tied to special forces like the SFA and SOA and Ranger, First Special Service Force, all kinds of different associations out there, the Joint Special Operations Association, Medical Associations, Ranger Association, you name it, it's out here. A lot of support programs that are vetted. These are vetted by our own members that help our program, our veterans in need. And you can see some of these are private groups across our network, whether it's TAPS, Rally Point, Brothers Getting Together, our SOCOM Care Coalition, etc. You'll see there's a bunch of links here to do that. Outdoor adventures, guys that do great things for the SF community. And then boom, a lot of you have, some of you are going to school. Some of you are the age that you have kids or grandkids going to school. Here is a great database of grants and scholarships. Look at all these. If you did search on the internet, you don't have to do that. Just come to our website, look at all these scholarship opportunities for our brothers, our sons and daughters and grandkids, tons of them. Even other organizations and their scholarship programs. So again, if you find a broken link that doesn't work, let us know. If you know of another organization that's out there that's not listed here, hit an administrator up and we will add it on there. You need help with transitioning with your veteran service organizations. Here's a great database to search for them. Just a phenomenal list of resources all in one spot. And I think that's all that I'm going to cover. I will cover any questions here at the end. I'm going to stop sharing and pass over the briefing over to Jeff. You're muted. You're muted, Jeff.
Sorry, muted myself to not make noise. I apologize about that. My name is Jeff Olson. I'm a member of Chapter 6, but I'm living out here in Texas, as we were kind of talking before we started the formal part of the call. So I'm like really a beneficiary of Teamhouse. I'm a big supporter of it because I really feel like it allows me to be involved with my chapter and what's going on there, even though physically I'm 1,500 miles away. So it's hard for me to make it to a lot of chapter meetings, obviously, but I can still stay involved in the chapter. So if you're an at-large member, or if you're one of those people that doesn't live extremely close to your chapter, you'll probably find the same thing with Teamhouse. It's one of the neat things about it. So let's take a look at a few of the things here. If we look at blogs, so there are blogs and forums both in Teamhouse. Not to get too hung up on what the definition of one versus the other is, but blogs are a little bit less formal. They're a little bit less formal, a little less organized. There are some out here you can start your own, start another one if there's a particular topic you want to look at. Some of them you'll see are chapter specific. There's one that's a general blog. There's one about SF for life. And if we went out and looked at that one, Jeremy Miller has posted some things here. One of them is about the 3M earplugs lawsuit. And then there's one about the anti-terror fund. So, they're talking about this organization that's helping people with both of those. So some good, useful information. And a great example of user-generated content, and that really is what we need more of to make Teamhouse successful. The more users get involved, generate content like blogs, forums, other things, photo albums, the better the site will be for all of us. SFA Store, this actually takes us out to the to part of the old website, and this is the store that's been out there. A lot of the coins, different patches and tabs, etc. And then the Special Forces Association merchandise. So, if you're needing, a beret flash, or you're looking for the regimental tie, that type of thing, those are out here in the SFA store. So you're probably somewhat familiar with that already. Photo albums. This is a neat part of Teamhouse. So chapters can share things. It might be an event where they did a dinner event and put a number of photos up. This is the chapter up in Montana. They do a really neat program for active duty guys that need a break, just need to to get away from a wellness standpoint. And so they posted up some neat pictures of some of those events they've done. Chapter 6 has posted up the call competition, which is a neat competition they do for junior ROTC students based on the Sandhurst competition. So a lot of good things, a lot of variety out there. Again, great place for user-generated content. So the more we can get folks adding pictures, if you have having any issues creating an album or adding pictures, let us know. We'll be glad to help you out. The news, again, great place for user and maybe chapter generated content or user generated content. But this allows you to share information on what's going on with your chapter or in your part of the world. Certainly could be an area to share news that is important or interesting to the SF community. So a lot of capability there as well for user generated content. So the forums, as I mentioned, we've got blogs, we've got forums. The forums are maybe a little bit more formal is one way to look at it. So you'll notice when you get into the forums page, there's an area called general discussion, and then there's an area called national. Now national, each chapter, as well as at-large members, have a forum out here. You'll notice most of them are not getting used much, but that is a tool your chapter can use, or if you're an at-large member, you can use for communication. And if we just took a look here at the SF Teamhouse forum, I'll talk about a few things here. You'll notice there's a button here for start new thread. So why would you use that button? If you look through here and you're not seeing a topic that fits what you want to talk about, you can start a new thread. I did that, for instance, when I started this forum, which was the one for Teamhouse help, support, and questions. This is a place you can go if you've got a question or you need some help. I log onto the site at least once a day, and I've kind of trained myself to go to this forum and see if there's any questions out there that I might be able to help with. So we try to be pretty responsive. But you know, people have come out here and asked questions. You'll notice a while back we had one of the chapter admins, Bob Welch, asked, "Hey, is there a smartphone app, or are we going to get one?" The answer to that is there is a smartphone app available. It's something that's under consideration for future use. Right now, we really need to get more people using Teamhouse, and then we can look at that. However, you can use Teamhouse on a smartphone today, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But you know, I posted a document here that you can go to that kind of talks you through a little bit about using it on a mobile device, a phone or tablet. You'll notice up here, you have the capability of switching to a threaded view. This is kind of the more traditional form kind of view, where you have the first thing posted up at the top and answers are indented. And this is the way it defaults, that flat view. I'll show you one more thing here. You can search a thread. So I can go in here and go, there was something in here I remember seeing about updating my profile. So let me search on profile, and it will bring up documents that are forum posts rather that have profile in it, and highlight those for me. And then I can see, oh, here's an attachment that talks about some tips, including updating your profile. So that's some of the functions of forums. Again, user generated. Please do go out there. It's really wide open for anything, as long as it's civil content. You know, we've asked people, you know, don't get political. Let's keep it civil, etc. But there's really no limits to the things other than that could be discussed or could be part of the forum. I'm really surprised, as an example, as many people as we have that enjoy competitive shooting of some sort, that there aren't some forums out there on that. That'd be a great place to have a forum. So again, user generated content. The committees tab. This simply is just a listing of committees, the Teamhouse administrators, National Board of Officer, chapter admins, SS for Life. So Pete talked about SF for Life a little bit. Incredibly great, very, very important program for us. And you can see who are the folks that are involved with President for Life. So I can, go out and see the committee chairs, Ed and Jeremy. If I'm in Hawaii and I might need help with something, well, here's Pete, he's in Hawaii. If I'm in Pennsylvania, here's JD, that's in Pennsylvania. So that's kind of what is on the committee's page. Contacts. Should you ever need to mail something to National, here's the mailing address, their phone number. So this is at National Headquarters for SFA. They're good about answering the phone there. And if you've got a question on membership or something along those lines, there's the contact info. The national officers. So these emails belong to the office, so to speak. For instance, today, Keith Rutledge is the national vice president. He's got 5 or 6 more weeks. He's not running for re-election. There will be a new national VP, and that email address will then go to the new national VP, whoever that is. So that's a way to keep in touch should you need to or want to with national officers. You can also email from here. You can choose to go to a general information box that's monitored or to one of those officers. And really important down here, Club Express support. So if you are doing something and you're really stuck, hey, I'm following this list, this document I've got step by step, and it just doesn't work for me. Here's the toll-free number for Club Express. Give them a call. They're very helpful. Good help desk. You'll notice they run kind of a modified, expanded business hours Monday through Friday. So they're not available 24/7, but good chunk of the day for most of the US. And should you ever need to get in touch with them, good number to know. SFA convention. This, currently obviously is talking about this year's convention. So you can click there and go out here, register online, download the schedule, or download a mailable registration form. If you've got questions coming up in September in Colorado, should be a good time, Colorado Springs. The donations page. So you'll notice there's a couple things up here. Just added the Colonel Jack Tobin Scholarship Fund. Probably a lot of you know Jack. He really had a remarkable career in 5th, 7th, and 11th SF, as well as a number of other assignments that literally spanned more than 40 years, Vietnam to Afghanistan. Great guy. I had the privilege of serving with Jack, and his chapter and his family have chosen to memorialize Jack with a scholarship fund. So pretty neat thing. There's also one out here on Memorial 3 gun, but let's take a look at this one. So if I click donate, I can choose the amount I want to donate. I can make this in honor of or in memory of an individual if I want to. I can say how I want my name to appear, or do I want it to be an anonymous contribution? Do I want to notify someone about it? So you could choose to do that. If you put mailing address or email address in, that person would be notified. And if you have an employer or someone else that does matching gifts, you can choose to do that. which is a neat way a lot of times of doubling a donation. I'm gonna back out of this because if I go further, I'm actually into making a donation. But I'll mention one more thing. So this, like, buying something out of the store or other things we do, what we do is we use a payment processor, and it's a company called Stripe. And if you're not familiar with how that works, a payment processor is a company that exists solely to handle credit card transactions. So they're up to date on all the security, the standards, everything else. When I click proceed to payment here, it's going to take me out to their page to enter credit card information in a very secure environment. And that credit card information is not going to be kept here on this page. It's not going to be kept within SFA unless I choose to save that information in my membership profile. If you remember what part of what Pete showed you earlier. So important to remember, SFA is not saving any of that information, and it's going out through a qualified payment processor at this point. I'll mention one other thing. If you're a chapter admin or your chapter has some causes, some things you're thinking about, this is something that's available to chapters to use. So if you've got questions about donations, how to set one up, there's some training material out here, and we'll be glad to help you as well. So that's the donations. Neat thing too about this is, so for either of these or any other ones that go out, the donations are going directly to the fund, but they're all being aggregated from a reporting standpoint. So how many, or the dollar amount of donations that have been made by SFA members. So that's kind of a neat thing for SFA to show the value in a lot of these areas. Training, couple things here. So there's a few things at the top here for chapter admins on setting up customer pages, one on creating photo albums, one on creating donation funds like we just talked about, and then some member specific things, some information on updating your member profile. And then, I talked about this one on using Teamhouse on a mobile device. If you want to give that a try, if you click there, it will take you to a document which sort of talks you through. It's not intended to be a comprehensive guide, but it should get you going if you're interested in giving that a try. I'll give you my thoughts. I often sign on my phone just to, look at something real quick. I personally find it's not a substitute for a PC, has its place, but anywhere I kind of want a full screen and a full size keyboard, I'm going to sit down at the PC and do it. So that's just, my 2 cents. You can give it a try and see what you think. Membership, if you remember, we showed you up front, this is one of the ones the general public can see. So if you're not a member, you click here, it will give you some information on how to become a member or how to renew a membership. If I click on it, it's just going to say you're already a member. So let me show you the last thing here, which is the elections tab. So before I go any further, we've had questions several times. Hey, can we use this for chapter elections? You certainly can. And it's something that as soon as I have a few minutes to finish it up, I will put up a document there on the training page that'll take you through doing that. So if you're a chapter admin and your chapter is interested in using this for elections, yes, you can do it. Right now, what is up here is the national elections. We just had the vote on associate member voting rights for national elections. That was done both online and via paper, and that process worked pretty well. Same thing here with the national election. So you can vote with the paper ballot in the drop, or you can go here And if I click there, then I'm ready to vote. The preamble here gives me some of the rules behind it, explains a few things. You know, one of the questions that comes up, why is there a no on the ballot? By our Constitution, if someone is running unopposed and they have more no votes than yes votes, then they don't get elected. So that's the way our Constitution works. But once you get in here, click next to move into the actual ballot. You do not have to vote yes and no on individual candidates. One vote or one click in any of these boxes is all you need to do. Once you're done voting, you enter your chapter number and then your member number, which is your electronic signature. And once you're done, enter those things, click next, your vote is cast. So the reason we've had a question, hey, why are they asking for my chapter number? They do not tally votes or aggregate votes by chapter, but there is a reconciliation process. So as I mentioned, you can still vote via the paper ballot, or you can vote electronically. After the election's done, there's got to be a reconciliation process where someone makes sure that someone didn't vote twice. So grouping it by chapter number is part of that reconciliation process, and it helps in that. That's why that question's been asked. So what I would say is just one final thing. If you have not voted, please do go out and vote here. The participation in elections has been historically low in SFA, and it'd be great if more people were voting and taking an active role in determining who our member or our leadership is. Oh, that is all that I have for my part, and that concludes our brief walkthrough of Teamhouse. Hopefully, you've seen what a powerful tool it is for you as a member, for your chapter, if you're a member of a chapter, and how Teamhouse can help us build a stronger SFA community. So we'll now be glad to take your questions, comments, and suggestions.
I hear some crickets. While you guys think of any questions that you may have, let me couple other things. A lot of our members are old. For example, I have a 92-year-old that fought in Korea, Vietnam. He is not going to get on a computer to do this, but loves to link up and catch up with those folks throughout his career to do that. So the admin rep, when I go to my meetings, I can open up my computer right there and he could sit right by me and I could put his bio, I can put his contact info and explain to him everything that we're doing and who it's going to, because that guy himself is not going to put that together. And so I'm working on that with my 92-year-old right now. And you admin folks out there can do that with your chapters. The other thing, I'll double tap on the donations and the treasurer capabilities of this site. It's like a GoFundMe site. When a new member joins, if your treasurer has their bank account tied in with National and that person pays the membership number, National takes a cut of that and the local chapter gets a cut of it. If your treasurer in your chapter has it linked, that money goes right into your account. Same thing with when Jeff was covering the donation tab. That whoever sets up that donation can have it go right into your account. No longer are you waiting for a check getting cut for National if you want to do things at the chapter level. This Teamhouse has really expanded the capabilities and the tools to us. And then one last little vignette I'll share. A lot of times, we had some guy out here on vacation. He was on active duty, got a little trouble with the law. The chain of command didn't want to get involved. And so they contacted us. Through Teamhouse, they looked up some fellow guys that were in that area that could help a brother out. And we helped a brother out, keeping it off the books and without destroying that guy's career. And so it's unlimited stories that I've heard and seen where people get into town and they see a guy with an SF hat on or a polo shirt or whatever, like, hey, I was in group 2. and they don't even know they're just in the right place at the right time. And you'd be surprised when people get in here. We have 10,857 active members today. 10,857. We have 23,391 total members. So we have over 13,000 inactive folks. Now, some of them may be deceased, but we got to clean our rolls, and we need the chapters to get together and use their team and find the appropriate person to be your admin rep to help you update your phone numbers, update your emails, update your profiles to really get this network to work. And it helps you from the time you don your Green Beret, even beyond life. Because literally I've helped guys that are no longer here with the information I pulled off Teamhouse to help me and their family after they're gone. I'm doing that for chapter 71, is it? Yeah, chapter 71 in Cody, Wyoming. Their whole leadership has passed. So we are using Teamhouse right now. Look at all these guys that are there. We're going to throw an event together to get them all together, drink beers and have a good time and re-establish that chapter. And we could do that with, there's places where there's maybe 30, 40 Green Berets at. They could start their own chapter. So it's a great tool, great capability. And we're always looking for advice to make it better. We literally looked across all the veteran organizations on what those organizations do for you. And I strongly believe, after being a member of a whole bunch of them, that SFA really is out to support the individual. A lot of guys were like this with National. They're out there and they're putting this down into the individual level to be able to take advantage of global support. So what question?
Much like, just kind of piggyback on that a little bit, but this is a very chapter centric organization. Chapters operate a little bit differently. Members maybe want different things out of a chapter depending on where they are. And Teamhouse gives you that capability. You can customize, you can use parts of it, you can choose to not use parts of it. But if you think about it in terms of a communication tool, between being able to email chapter members or having a call tree kind of thing, if that's what you need to do, the event scheduling, the things Pete mentioned financially, it used to be that membership fee got split between National and the chapter, and that was like twice a year, they reconciled that and sent money off. Now it happens automatically. If you're donating the things again, it's automatic, keeping records of those. The one final thing I would say, and I asked for it a lot in the parts I was going through, user content. So whether that's blogs, forums, photo albums, the news capability, you can share really anything that you want to there that's of interest to the SF community. We've talked about, there have been people that have said, gee, I'm reading a really neat book. I think a lot of people would enjoy this. It's like, well, do a review of it and post it up there in the news section and get the word out. So that kind of thing. But user content is really going to make Teamhouse take off.